The movie starts with the first part, prelude, meaning the introduction. Here, we see a scene from 1857 where a Danish ship called the Horizont is heading toward the North Pole and gets stuck in ice. The captain wants his men to somehow get the ship out of the ice so their expedition can continue, but all the other men just want to go home because they are tired and starving. Still, the captain doesn't give up and continues trying to free the ship. That night, they hear an explosion nearby, and a fire starts. The captain and some men go to check it out. There they find a man named Victor badly injured, bleeding a lot. In fact, his sled dogs are also dead. The captain and his men immediately bring Victor back to the ship and get ready with guns and all, thinking some monster must have done this to him. Suddenly, they see a huge man, almost like a monster, who attacks the captain's men instantly. Bullets don't seem to affect this monster, and it keeps shouting that it wants Victor. The monster climbs onto the ship and attacks anyone in its way. The captain then uses a special 4-barrel gun and shoots the monster. The monster falls off the ship, but it is so strong that it shakes the entire ship alone. Eventually, the monster reaches the ice beside the captain, fires back with that 4-barrel gun, breaking the ice, and falls into the water. At this point, the captain asks Victor who this monster is, and Victor says he created it. In fact, this monster can never die. It will come back. We realize by now that the monster has already killed 6 of the captain's men. The captain can't understand how Victor could create such a monster, and Victor begins to tell his whole story. And here starts part 1 of the story, Victor's tale. Victor's full name was Victor Frankenstein, and he was born into a wealthy family. His father was a baron and also a skilled surgeon. Victor's father didn't really love him or his wife. He had married Victor's mother mainly for money, which helped him maintain his baron rank. Victor's father was very strict. He taught Victor science, especially biology and surgery, from childhood, and if Victor made even a small mistake, he would beat him. Victor often saw his parents fighting, and he loved his mother a lot. Now, Victor's mother was pregnant, and one day she suddenly went into labor. Victor's father rushed to get her delivered, and the baby was fine, but Victor's mother didn't survive. This event deeply affected Victor, and his mental state wasn't the same after that. The baby was named William, Victor's younger brother. In the following years, William grew up and was loved a lot by their father, which made Victor feel his father didn't care for him but only for William. One day, when Victor's father was teaching him, Victor accused him of deliberately not saving his mother. His father said he had tried his best. Hearing this, Victor was like, "If that's true, then you failed. One day, I will conquer death, and I will have more knowledge than you." That night, Victor dreams of a dark angel telling him he will have command over the forces of life and death. Anyway, later, the Frankenstein family faces misfortune because of 2 revolts. Their plantation catches fire, and they lose everything. In the midst of all this, Victor's father also passes away. William is taken to Vienna with one side of the family, while Victor goes to London and then Edinburgh, where he studies human biology for years and becomes not just an expert but someone who pushes the limits. In 1855, 2 years before the current events, Victor gives a seminar at the Royal College of Medicine's disciplinary tribunal. He shows a live experiment in front of all the elders, using usable parts from dead people and putting electrical impulses in specific places so the dead body comes alive. Victor believed that while we cannot choose our birth, we can definitely conquer death. The half-dead body even caught a ball and let it go on command, which surprises everyone. The elders are furious because they believe God alone gives or takes life, and Victor's experiment is against God, basically, a scandal. But one man in the audience shows a lot of interest in Victor's experiment. Since the elders oppose it, Victor removes the electrical impulse needles from the experimental subject, and the subject dies again. After this, Victor heads to his place when the interested man meets him and introduces himself as Henrik Hollander. Henrik says his niece Elizabeth's wedding is arranged with Victor's brother William, and everyone will meet in a few days. So yes, they will soon be family. Henrik tells how William is doing well in business. But Henrik didn't come just for that. He wants to fund Victor's project so he can create a human from dead body parts and bring it to life, basically conquering death. Henrik is very rich, owning an ammunition factory. Earlier, he was an army doctor but wasn't good at it, so he chose the arms business and became rich. Victor agrees and meets Henrik at his house. A few days later, Henrik shows Victor the 5th Evelyn table, which were 4 in the world, but he had the 5th. For those unaware, these were 17th century anatomical wooden boards with preserved human nerves, arteries, and veins attached so people could understand body structure. Modern preservation techniques didn't exist then. They were made in Italy and later brought to England by John Evelyn. Henrik shows Victor this 5th table, and Victor gets super excited. Meanwhile, William and his fiancée Elizabeth arrive, and Victor instantly likes Elizabeth. At lunch, they argue because Elizabeth doesn't like Victor's idea of bringing the dead back to life. These scenes also show Victor always making himself the center of attention, which William didn't like from the start. Anyway, Henrik gives Victor a big villa and a tower to conduct his experiments, saying he has unlimited funds. Victor can get whatever he needs to make his experiment successful. Victor demands things like big batteries, pure silver lightning conductors shaped like telescopes, ice to preserve bodies, and other things. Henrik agrees to all of them, and we see Victor selecting samples from publicly hanged people, setting up everything perfectly so nothing goes wrong. Meanwhile, Victor tries to get closer to Elizabeth, following her, dancing with her, and all, but Elizabeth isn't very responsive. We understand that Elizabeth is naturally interested in real life, especially insects. Victor was starting to show interest in butterflies. One day there was a party at Henrik's place, and Henrik noticed that Victor was attracted to Elizabeth. So Henrik indirectly scolds Victor, saying he's not focusing on his work. In fact, Henrik gives Victor an ultimatum, saying he has only 7 days to complete his project, after which he will cut the funds. So Victor immediately starts working, but he couldn't figure out where exactly to place the pins for the electrical impulses. At that time, Elizabeth comes to visit him in the tower and even gives Victor a butterfly. Meanwhile, Victor tells Elizabeth his feelings, and it seems like they are getting close. But Elizabeth smartly refuses him because first she's engaged to William and mostly she isn't really interested in Victor, maybe only in his work. After Elizabeth leaves, Victor is in the basement thinking about how to make his experiment work, and then he remembers Elizabeth saying that everything in nature is symmetrical. So Victor places the pins symmetrically, and his small experiment works. I mean, we actually see a dead body come back to life. That's when Victor knew he just had to do this on a larger scale. He needed to build a full body and then give it an electrical charge. Victor uses perfect body parts from several dead people and slowly assembles a complete body, which was big and made from multiple people's parts. Henrik is also there at the tower, taking photos of the whole process. Finally, the time comes when lightning is striking, and Victor has to fit pure silver conductors, so the full electrical charge goes into the body at once. Victor goes to tell Henrik this, only to find that Henrik isn't well. Henrik had slept with many women, got syphilis, and didn't have much time left. That's why he funded Victor's experiment. He wanted to survive longer if Victor succeeded. Henrik pleads with Victor to use him as the subject and give him a new life since the experiment is almost ready. Victor says this isn't possible because Henrik's body is hollow from the disease and cannot be saved. This leads to a fight, with Henrik threatening to throw the silver conductors. He even says he will marry Elizabeth to Victor if Victor saves him. But Victor knows this isn't possible. Victor tries to grab the conductors, and Henrik falls with them. Henrik dies in the fall, bending one conductor. Victor, ignoring Henrik, sets up the bent conductors anyway. Then he finally conducts the experiment. The electricity goes into the body Victor made, but at first, nothing happens. Victor thinks the experiment failed and goes to sleep in despair. In a dream, he sees the Dark Angel again. When he wakes up, he finds the same body alive. Yes, friends, Victor's experiment worked, and this body now has life. From this point, we'll call it the creature. Seeing the creature, Victor is very happy. For now, the creature is weak and mentally slow. Victor teaches it to speak, but it only says one word, Victor, repeating his name. Initially, the creature is so weak that it moves very slowly. Over time, it gains strength. Once, while Victor is shaving its hair, the creature accidentally cuts its hand, but the wound heals instantly. A few weeks later, Victor is getting frustrated because the creature can only say Victor and thinks like a child, which Victor finds unacceptable. So Victor ties it up in the basement and even starts beating it. But we see that the creature is actually smart. It just needs to be taught like a child. We see it learning about water flow, placing leaves to see how water travels through them to a body of water. Meanwhile, Elizabeth wonders why her uncle hasn't written for days and comes with William to see Victor. Victor is excited to show them his research and tells them Henrik is away. He shows William his papers. Meanwhile, Elizabeth hears a voice from the basement saying, "Victor, Victor." She meets the creature and is mesmerized. The creature likes her too, and they get lost in each other. Elizabeth notices many scars on the creature's body, some fresh. She realizes Victor has been beating it and confronts him. Victor says this isn't a real person. It's the result of his experiment. He tells her that it's mentally slow, so it seems like a failed experiment. Elizabeth doesn't believe him and talks to the creature alone late at night. After she leaves, the creature starts saying Elizabeth's name too. Victor warns her not to go near it, but she ignores him and rejects his love again, which frustrates Victor. Victor hits the creature with a rod, but the creature grabs it and bends it, showing it has emotions. The next day, Victor secretly shows William Henrik's body, saying Henrik died by accident, and if Elizabeth finds out, there would be chaos. So William comes up with an excuse to take Elizabeth away, and they leave in a carriage. Victor, angry, goes to the creature, pours fuel all over the tower, and tells it to say another word besides Victor if it wants to live. The creature finally says Elizabeth, which angers Victor more, and he sets the tower on fire. Elizabeth realizes Victor is going to kill the creature, so she turns the carriage around and heads back. When the tower is engulfed in flames, Victor feels he should save the creature and runs inside, but an explosion throws him far, and he loses one leg completely. So yes, that was Victor's story. After hearing all this, the ship's captain was amazed. Then sounds come from outside the captain's cabin, and when he opens it, the creature has already arrived. Yes, friends, the creature survived the ice and made it here, defeating the captain's men. The creature attacks the captain, but Victor stops it. The captain tells the creature that it's a beast, and what Victor said about it is true. It's a monster. The creature stops and begins speaking, saying, "You've only heard Victor's story. Now listen to mine." And this starts part 2, which is the creature's tale. After the fire in the tower, the creature was badly trapped in the flames but uses all its strength to open the chest. Then it jumps from the tower through the waterway and lands in a water body, meaning it almost drowned. In the next scene, the creature opens its eyes after the chaos. Even after drowning, it survived. Then it goes to a nearby area with human skeletons and starts wearing some clothes. It eats natural berries and interacts with deer, even feeding them. But then some hunters arrive, who kill the deer and shoot at the creature because it looks like a monster. Injured, the creature runs and hides in a nearby gear mill. Its wounds heal, and it takes shelter there due to the cold. Sometime later, the owners come. These are the same hunters. The creature hides in the gear mill and notices the family. A few hunters, a woman, a child, and an old blind man. The blind man teaches the child letters, and the creature secretly learns too. The child learns to read, and the creature learns to speak. The creature starts liking the family and wants to be part of it. So at night, it helps the family, like cutting wood and placing it outside, building barns for their ship. The family thinks the work is done by the forest spirit and leaves clothes for it. The creature wears the clothes and continues hiding while observing the family. One day, a pack of wolves attacks the house, and the hunters fight them off. That day, the creature realizes a cycle in nature. Wolves eat sheep and goats, but humans see wolves as threats and kill them. It understands that the way a creature is perceived determines how it is treated, and this cannot be changed. After the wolf attack, the family decides to go to the mountains for a few days to hunt wolves, leaving the old blind man alone at home. After the family leaves, the creature finally approaches the blind man, who can't see it, and they form a friendship. The old man even says he had guessed. The creature was hiding in the mills. Gradually, its bond with the old man grew. The creature learned to read properly, went through many books, and spent quality time with the old man. The old man would pat its head, which the creature loved. In conversations, the creature's past came up, and it admitted it didn't even know who it was. The only name in its mind was Victor. Following the old man's advice, the creature finally went to the burned tower to learn about its creation. There, it found many of Victor's design books and pages, which included the creature's drawings, photos, and sketches. Now that the creature could read, it understood everything. It realized it had been made from different human body parts. That meant it didn't even know which human it truly was, maybe not even fully human. It also found a letter from Victor that had William's address, so the creature now knew where Victor would be. After returning to the old man's house, the creature saw wolves. It fought the wolves and killed them, but by then the old man had already been badly hurt. The creature helped him, but the family returned and, seeing the creature, assumed it was a wild animal. They shot at it, and the creature, enraged, took down one of them before leaving. The hunters shot more at it, and the creature was knocked unconscious, but its wounds healed quickly. It stood up and, following the letter, reached the address, actually William's place. That day, William was getting married to Elizabeth. Victor was alive, wearing a prosthetic leg, and went to congratulate Elizabeth. Elizabeth slapped Victor, saying there was something wrong in his heart, accusing him of hurting the creature and being a bad person. Victor returned to his room, where he saw the creature. He was surprised and immediately realized that the creature had become smart. The creature told Victor to forget everything that had happened and asked him to create a female like itself so they could be together forever. Victor refused, saying it was a monster and he wouldn't create another, or else it would have children and destroy the world. Victor called the creature a failed experiment, and the creature started attacking him. Hearing the noise, Elizabeth came in and was delighted to see the creature alive. She was mesmerized, and the creature was happy to see her. But then Victor fired a gun at the creature, and the bullet hit Elizabeth instead. Everyone in the room rushed in. William attacked the creature, but the creature raised its hand, striking William and causing a serious head injury. Victor screamed that the creature had killed Elizabeth. Everyone considered attacking the creature, but its size and presence made them hesitant. The creature took Elizabeth in its arms and carried her outside to a cave, where she was safe. She was happy in its arms, clearly fond of the creature, who had saved her. Meanwhile, William was dying and blamed Victor for everything, claiming that Victor had always been stubborn and cruel, even as a child. He admitted that the real monster was Victor, not the creature, and then died angry. Victor took a gun and chased the creature through the icy valleys. The creature easily overpowered Victor, but didn't kill him. Instead, it injured him slowly, showing him what pain really was. Victor swore he wouldn't stop until he defeated the creature. From this point, the cat-and-mouse game between Victor and the creature began. Victor hunted it with guns and dynamite all the way to the North Pole, but the plan failed. The bullets didn't harm the creature. In a violent struggle, the creature beat Victor badly, and Victor's tent caught fire. The creature even detonated some dynamite in its own hands, saying if it killed him, fine. Otherwise, it would keep returning to fight Victor. Even after the blast, the creature survived, which drew the captain and his men toward the fire. The blood they saw wasn't Victor's, but the creature's. Yes, the creature was still alive, which amazed the captain. Now the final act of the film begins. Victor finally apologizes to the creature for everything he did, and the creature forgives him. Victor pats its head, as the creature liked. He calls it his son, and finally accepts that it is his creation, his own, just like him. Both Victor and the creature are deeply sad, but they find some closure. Victor asks the creature to say its name one last time. It does, repeating, "Victor, Victor," just as before. At this point, Victor's injuries are too severe, and he dies. The creature calls Victor its creator, and sorrowful, leaves. The captain orders his men not to attack the creature. The creature disembarks the ship, pushes it off the ice into the water, and embraces the sunlight, just like it did the first time. The film ends here.